You weren't born in Moscow, but in a military town near Pskov. 1985. Your mother is a teacher, your father is an airborne forces officer. Instead of toys, you were given discipline. It's cheaper than love and kills weakness. By the age of 10, you already know how to disassemble an AK. Your childhood is a barracks without heating. You freeze at night under a thin blanket. 1991. Collapse. The USSR is no more. Your father lost his job. A great power turned into a dump overnight. Now he drinks. Every evening it's vodka and swearing. Your mother works 3 jobs to feed the family. You eat American humanitarian aid in the school cafeteria. Bush legs are humiliation with a taste of chicken. The yard is a jungle. Here there are gangs, drug addicts, and gunfire at night. You learn to fight or die. The choice is simple. At 14, you end up at the police station for the first time. Self-defense. You broke the nose of a guy who tried to take your jacket. The local officer looks at you and says, either the army or prison. There's no third option. Your best friend Seryoga got hooked on heroin. You saw him dying in the stairwell. Blue lips, foam at the mouth. He was 17. You realized life is shit, but you can choose what kind of shit. 1995. You're in school. New Russians pull up to the yard in their jeeps. They mock the veteran, your neighbor, beating him with sticks because he asked them not to park on the playground. You stand there and watch. Helplessness burns in your throat. You make yourself a promise, never to be weak again. Your father sobers up for a day and says, if you want to live like a human being, join the FSB. At least there's order there. That's the only sensible advice you've ever heard from him. The year is 2003. You are 18. You apply to the FSB Academy of Russia, Michurinsky Prospect, Moscow. The selection process is like going to war. Out of 100 candidates, they take 30. Physical training. A 10-kilometer run in 40 minutes. 25 pull-ups. That's the minimum. Psychological tests. They ask you if you're ready to kill a person if ordered to. You say, yes, that's the correct answer. Background check. They dig into your past up to the 3rd generation. If your grandfather had problems with the KGB, you'll be rejected. You're lucky, it's clean. First day at the academy. Wake up at 6 in the morning. Lights out at 11 at night. In between, hell. Physical training until you throw up. Sambo, Sistema, hand-to-hand combat. You learn to break bones and choke people with your bare hands. This isn't sport, it's killing with rules. Firearms training. PM, the Makarov pistol, 9mm, as reliable as a crowbar. You shoot until your fingers bleed. The standard is to hit the chest target from 25 meters, 10 out of 10. Otherwise you have to retake it. AK-74, Kalashnikov assault rifle. You disassemble it blindfolded in 18 seconds. Reassemble it in 22. It's your second wife. There won't be a first one. There's no time for that. SVD, Dragunov sniper rifle. You lie in the mud for 3 hours, not moving, waiting for the target. One shot, a headshot from 300 meters. The instructor says, good, but not enough to survive. Psychology. They teach you how to recruit people, how to find their weakness. Money, fear, pride, lust. Everyone has a price. Your job is to find it and push. You learn to lie, look into the eyes and talk nonsense with a straight face. Lie detector. They connect you to wires and ask questions. You have to trick the machine. Breathing, pulse, blood pressure, everything is under control. You are taking a test. Congratulations, you are a professional liar. First year. Screening. Out of 30, 18 remained. Some couldn't handle the physical training, some broke down psychologically. One guy hanged himself in the bathroom. No one talks about it, he just doesn't exist anymore. They put you through a test of endurance. Solitary confinement. A concrete box 2 by 2 meters. No light, no food, only water. For 3 days you sit in the dark and listen to yourself go insane. Sounds in your head, voices. You scratch the walls with your nails. On the 3rd day, they let you out. You come out like an old man. The instructor says, well done. Now you know what solitary is like. If you get captured, that'll be your home. The year 2005. You choose your specialization. Counterintelligence, internal threats, spies, traitors, terrorists. You'll be hunting your own. It's the dirtiest job. They teach you operational psychology. How do you break people without torture? Sleep deprivation. You interrogate a suspect for 48 hours straight. He sits on a chair with the light on. You switch shifts with your partner every 6 hours, but he doesn't. After 2 days, he's ready to sign anything, just to get some sleep. Agent work. How do you recruit a source? You study the target for months, where he lives, who he sleeps with, what he eats, what debts he has, what he's afraid of. You find the entry point. Money, he's in debt. Blackmail, he has a mistress. Ideology, he's dissatisfied with the authorities. Patriotism, He believes in his country. You choose your tool and apply pressure. You become his friend, his confessor, his savior, and then you ask for a small favor. Just pass along a document. Just tell me what you heard at the meeting. He agrees. Congratulations, he's yours. Technical supervision. Wiretapping. You learn to install bugs the size of a tablet, in a phone, in a socket, in a baseboard. The microphone works for 2 weeks on battery power. You listen to everything. Conversations, sex, quarrels, snoring. 99% is garbage, but that 1% is gold. Surveillance. You follow the target for weeks, on foot, by car, on the subway. You memorize his walk, how he smokes, how he looks around. If he's a professional, he'll spot you, so you work in a team. You switch out with your partners, breaking and entering. You learn to pick locks in 30 seconds. Lock picks, bump keys, electronic readers. You enter the apartment while the owner is at work, install cameras, copy the computer's hard drive, photograph documents, and leave. Languages. English is a must. You learn it to a native level. American accent, slang, idioms. You have to pass for a local. German or Chinese, your choice. You choose German. Europe is your zone. The year is 2007. Internship. They send you to Prague, undercover. You're an exchange student studying history. In reality, you're keeping tabs on Russian dissidents. They meet in cafes, discussing how to overthrow the regime. Your task is to gather information. Who's the leader? Who's the sponsor? What connections do they have? You live in a hostel, work as a bartender, make acquaintances. You're the nice Russian guy who fled from Putin. Failure. Check counterintelligence. The BS identifies you. You've been exposed. You ask too many questions, showed too much interest in the wrong things. You get a call from headquarters. Evacuate immediately. You burn your documents, pull the SIM card out of your phone, break it, and leave the hostel with just one backpack. A taxi to the airport, a flight to Vienna, then a train to Moscow. You're back. Failure is a lesson. You've learned it. The year is 2008. Graduation. You're a junior operative in the FSB's Department K, Moscow, Lubyanka. Your salary is 45,000 rubles. That's poverty for the capital. You rent a one-room apartment on the outskirts for 25,000. Ride the metro. Your suit is from the market, but you have a red badge, an FSB ID. You can stop any car, enter any building, arrest anyone. You're a god in plain clothes. Your gear, a PM, Makarov pistol with 2 magazines, 16 rounds. You always carry it under your jacket in a holster. Even when you sleep, it's on your nightstand. A voice recorder the size of a lighter records for 12 hours. A hidden camera in a button records video. The quality is crap. Your first operation is a recruitment. The target is a US Embassy employee in Moscow, James Collins, cultural attaché, actually a CIA officer undercover. Your task is to recruit him, to turn him into a double agent. This is the highest level of skill. You study the file. Married, 2 kids, likes whiskey and poker. That's your entry point. You arrange a chance encounter. The same poker club. You sit at his table, introduce yourself as a businessman. Import, export. You play, you deliberately lose. He relaxes. After the game, you go to a bar, drink whiskey, chat about life. He likes you, you become his friend. 2nd month, 3rd month. You meet regularly, play, drink. You find out everything. His wife is cheating on him with the ambassador. His debts have grown to $50,000. The casino belongs to the Chechens. They don't joke around. You see, he's on the edge. Just a little more, and he'll break. You bring in card sharks. They drown him in debt. Now he owes 80,000. The Chechens come to his house, threaten his family. He's in a panic. You show up like a savior, offering help. I know people who can solve your problem, but they'll ask for a favor in return. He understands what this is about. He's not a fool, but he has no choice. He agrees. You hand him over to the handler. Now he's ours. He hands over documents, tells us about the CIA's plans in Russia. You receive a bonus of 50,000 rubles and a medal for distinguished service. You put it in your desk drawer. No one but you will ever see it. Your work is a secret. Routine is 90% of the job. You sit in a car for 12 hours watching a suspect. He leaves his house, goes to the store, buys bread, and returns home. That's it. You write it up in your report. Tomorrow it's the same thing. You listen to wiretaps. Hundreds of hours of recordings, conversations about the weather, about football, about someone's back hurting. 99% of it is garbage, but you're looking for that 1%. A code word, a mention of a meeting. Paperwork. You write reports every day. Where the subject went, who they met with, what they said. Everything in detail. Your boss reads it and demands even more details. You rewrite it. Bureaucracy suffocates you faster than a bullet. Personal life. You have a girlfriend, Katya. You met her at a bar. She doesn't know what you do for a living. You tell her you're an office manager. She believes you. You're always at work, disappear for days, don't answer calls. She gets angry. You're always lying. You can't tell the truth. Non-disclosure agreement. If you talk, you'll go to jail yourself. She breaks up with you. You're always at work. You're always lying. I'm tired of it. She leaves. You are left alone. Alcohol is the only one that doesn't ask questions. 2010. Business trip. Grozny, Chechnya. Ordered to go for 6 months. The task is to identify militants working undercover. You live on a military base in a container. Metal box, plus 40 in summer, minus 20 in winter. There's no air conditioning, no heating either. You sweat and freeze at the same time. Every trip into the city is a risk. You're in a bulletproof vest, your rifle at the ready, but that won't save you from an IED, a homemade explosive device. They hide it in a trash can, in a dog's corpse, in a baby stroller. You never know where it will go off. You just walk and pray. A sweep. You burst into a house at 4 in the morning, kick down the door, point your rifle in someone's face. Everyone on the floor. You search, turn everything upside down, mattresses, closets, floors. You're looking for weapons, documents, money. Children are crying, women are screaming, but you pay no attention. You're a machine. Interrogation. You sit across from the detainee, and he stays silent. You deprive him of sleep. Bright lights, loud music, 48 hours. He breaks, tells you everything. Where the base is, who the commander is, when the attack will happen. You write it down and pass it on. Your job is done. The first kill. A detention operation. You burst into the apartment. The militant is inside. He pulls out an RGD-5 grenade. You see it in slow motion. He pulls the pin, you shoot. 3 shots to the chest. He falls. The grenade rolls out of his hand. Doesn't explode. You stand over the body. This is your first. You feel nothing. Emptiness. Nightmares at night. You see his face, how he falls again and again. You wake up in a sweat, reach for the bottle. Vodka helps you fall asleep for a little while. There is no psychologist in the FSB. Keep yourself together. You return to Moscow. 6 months have passed. You survived. Many did not return. Blown up, shot, disappeared. You drink to them in silence. Their names are a secret. The year is 2014. A promotion. You are now a senior operative. Salary 80,000 plus bonuses. You now have 3 subordinates. You move into a 2-room apartment, buy a used Toyota. It seems like you made it, but inside there's emptiness. You're married for the 2nd time. Lena. She doesn't know what you do either. You say you work for the tax office. She believes you for now. You disappear at night. Your phone is always on silent. She asks, "Where have you been?" You say, "Business trip." She doesn't believe you, but she stays silent. For now. A new assignment, a case by order. Your boss calls you in. There's a photo of a businessman on the table. Mikhail Solovyov, owner of a car dealership chain. He's clean, pays his taxes, follows the law, but he refused to sell his business to the right people. That's a problem. Your job is to solve it. The plan is simple. Plant drugs in his car, arrange a random traffic police check, arrest, search his office and home, put pressure on his family. He'll break and hand over the business. He'll be released. Everyone's happy except him. You bring in his wife. She's hysterical. Misha, sign whatever they want, please. The kids need their father. He looks at her, then at you. You see him give in. His eyes are empty. He signs the papers. The business is transferred. That's it. He's free. The case is closed due to lack of evidence of a crime. A lab error. It happens. You get a bonus of 200,000 rubles. Your boss shakes your hand. Good job. You go home, buy a bottle of vodka, and drink alone in the kitchen. You think about Solovyov, about his wife, about the kids. You ruined their lives. For what? For someone else's money, someone else's greed. You're a tool, a cog in the machine. You pour yourself another drink. Vodka helps you not to think. 2016. Divorce. Lena takes her things and your daughter. You don't resist. Alimony is 30% of your salary. You sign the papers. You're left alone. The apartment is empty. The fridge is empty. Bottles in the corner. You sit on the floor and stare at the wall. An attempt. Night. You're drunk. You take out your service PM. Press the barrel to your temple. Cold metal, finger on the trigger. You sit like that for 10 minutes, unable to pull the trigger. Coward. You throw the pistol onto the couch, vomit in the sink, fall asleep on the floor. A call in the morning. A business trip. Donbass, Ukraine. You go there officially on vacation. In reality, it's an FSB group. The task is to coordinate the militia, train, supply, and control them. You live at the militia base. It's a former school. The windows are smashed. The walls are full of holes. You sleep in a sleeping bag on the floor. Your job is to organize the supply of weapons. AK-74s, RPGs, mortars, shells. Everything comes from Russia. Officially, it's humanitarian aid. You receive the shipments, distribute them among the units, and make sure nothing gets stolen. That's almost impossible. Everyone steals. Commanders sell weapons on the side. You turn a blind eye. Interrogations of prisoners. Ukrainian soldiers, conscripts, just boys. They're 20 years old. They didn't want to fight. They were forced to. You sit across from them, asking questions. Which unit? Which commander? How many people? What weapons? They answer. They're afraid. You don't beat them? That's what the militia do afterwards. You just extract information. That's your job. The fighting. You're not on the front line, but you're close. You hear artillery every day. You see the wounded, the dead. Corpses lie in the streets. No one removes them. It stinks. You get used to the smell. That's the scariest part. You see civilians, old people, children, women. They hide in basements, go out for water, and get caught under shelling. Have you seen a shell tear a grandmother in half? She was carrying a bag of bread. The bread remained intact, but she did not. You realize this isn't liberation, it's a slaughter. You're not a hero, you're a mercenary. You're helping to kill people for someone else's interests you don't even know. They don't tell you. You're just a cog in the machine. You drink every evening. Vodka is cheap here. The militia drink too. Everyone drinks, otherwise you go crazy. 6 months. You return to Moscow. You're awarded a medal for distinction. It's classified, with no public announcement. You hide it in a drawer with the others. People ask you, how was it there? You say, it was fine, just work. No one wants the details. Everyone knows but stays silent. You stay silent too. The year is 2018. An internal investigation. The FSB's own security service, the SOB. They're hunters of their own kind. They came for your boss. Corruption, ties to organized crime, kickbacks. Your boss is a colonel. He used to be untouchable. Turns out he wasn't. 2 of them come to you, show their badges. SOB, come with us. You go with them. An interrogation. 12 hours. They know everything. The Solovyov case, your role, the bonuses. They show you documents, your signatures. You're guilty. An accomplice. You can go to jail or make a deal. You testify against your boss. He goes to jail, you don't. Resignation at your own request. Quietly, without fuss. You sign. What's left? You're Judas. You betrayed your commander to save your own skin. You can't look in the mirror. 2019. Dismissal. 16 years of service, a pension of 35,000 rubles. That's it. You're left without a job, without connections, with alcoholism and PTSD. Who will hire you? You try to get a job as a security guard. Interview. They look at you. Former FSB, why did you leave? You mumble something. They see it. You're an alcoholic. Rejected. You keep trying. Rejected everywhere. You drink too much. You have too few skills. Your qualifications are espionage, fabrication, murder. That doesn't sell on the job market. You rent a room in a communal apartment for 15,000 on the outskirts. Your neighbors are drunks and migrants. Now you're one of them. You live off your pension, buy vodka and cheap food, pasta, canned stew, bread. Meat is a luxury. You sit in your room and drink, stare out the window. Remember Chechnya, Donbass, Solovyov, everyone you broke. They come to you at night. You wake up in a sweat, screaming. The neighbors bang on the wall. Shut up! You fall silent. You drink some more. Former colleagues avoid you. You are Judas, a rat. You betrayed your boss. That is never forgiven. No one answers your calls. You were removed from the group chats. You are alone. The year is 2020. You are 52 years old, but you look 70. Your face is swollen. Your eyes are yellow. Your liver is failing. The doctor says, cirrhosis. If you don't stop drinking, you'll be dead in a year. You nod, leave the clinic and buy a bottle. What else is left? Work. You get a job as a night watchman at a construction site. The salary is 30,000. Night shifts. You sit in a trailer, check the grounds once an hour, and the rest of the time you drink tea. Or not tea. It's cold, lonely, and boring. You think about your life. What have you done? Who have you become? There is no answer. Your daughter doesn't call. You haven't paid child support for a year. You can't. Lena took you to court. The bailiffs deducted from your pension, leaving you with 20,000. You barely make ends meet. Barely. The year is 2023. A heart attack. You wake up from chest pain, can't breathe. Your left arm goes numb. You realize, this is it. You reach for the phone, dial 112, but you don't make it in time. The pain hits you like a wave. Darkness. They find you 3 days later. A neighbor noticed the smell and called the police. You lie on the floor, an empty bottle nearby. Death in solitude. No one came, no one found out in time. You died as you lived, alone. A state-funded funeral. As required by law. A former FSB officer. A simple coffin, pine, a communal grave, no headstone. A plaque with your name. No one at the funeral. The gravediggers dig, lower the coffin, and cover it up. That's it, you're gone. Your daughter finds out a month later. The bailiffs inform her that the debtor has died. She comes to the grave, stands there, and cries. She doesn't remember you. You were a ghost in her life. She leaves and will never come back. The sum of a life. Finances. In 16 years of service, you earned about 15 million rubles. Salaries, bonuses, travel allowances. Where did it all go? 40%. Alcohol, vodka, beer, whiskey. You drank every day for the last 10 years. 30%. Divorces and alimony. 30%. Housing, apartment rentals, rented rooms, communal flats. Balance at the time of death. A debt of 500,000 rubles. Loans you never repaid. Killings. Personally killed 2 people, both in Chechnya. 1 militant, 1 civilian. Caught in crossfire. That's called collateral damage. Insomnia. Slept 4 hours a day for the last 5 years. Personal life. 2 marriages, both ended in divorce. 1 child, no contact. Friends at the time of death, 0. Everyone turned away. You died alone. No one came to say goodbye. Myths versus reality. Myth. FSB agents are superheroes saving the motherland. Reality. 90% of the time is paperwork, surveillance, wiretapping, boring routine. Myth. Huge salaries and privileges. Reality. The average salary is between 60 and 80,000 rubles. In Moscow, that's poverty. There are benefits, but it's not a fortune. Myth. They always act according to the law. Reality. Pressure, fabricated cases, operations on demand. The law is just a tool when needed. Myth. A heroic death in battle. Reality. Most die from alcohol, illness, or suicide. Quietly and miserably. Epilogue. A philosophical conclusion. You wanted to serve your motherland, but became a tool of the system. You dreamed of justice, but committed lawlessness. You thought you'd be a hero, but became an alcoholic with no future. You gave your life to a country that forgot you the very next day. Your name isn't on a memorial. It's in the database of those dismissed. You were just a cog in the machine. Cogs aren't buried with honors. They're thrown away when they break. Your life was bought for an idea. The idea turned out to be a lie. You didn't serve the people. You served those at the top. Their interests, their money, their power. You were used, squeezed dry, and thrown away. This is the story of everyone who thought the system would protect them. The system protects itself. You were expendable. Just a statistic. The average age of death for retired FSB officers is 58. You didn't make it that far. 65% of dismissed operatives suffer from alcoholism. You're in the majority. The divorce rate is 80%. You too. The suicide rate is 15%. The alternative. If you hadn't joined the FSB, if you'd stayed in Pskov, worked at the factory, married a local girl, had kids, lived quietly, poorly, and boringly, you would have died at 65 of old age, surrounded by grandchildren, with a clear conscience. But you chose something else. Power, adrenaline, secrecy. You paid for it with your life. Was it worth it? Everyone decides for themselves. The final word. To those who are watching. The FSB is not a movie. It's not romantic. It's a machine that grinds people up, its own and others alike. If you think you'll become a hero, think twice. Heroes are the first to die, or they end up drinking themselves to death. The system doesn't like heroes. It likes performers. Quiet, obedient, unquestioning. History is written in blood and secret archives. We show the truth without embellishment. Subscribe to The Guts of War. Next episode, a street racer. Addicted to speed, adrenaline, and cheap beer. Is your adventure just beginning, or is it ending? Depends on how you look at it.